And so this is where marketing starts to progress, where we start to see things. Art Shaw introduces us to what he calls the value of marketing. What is the value of marketing? He calls it the marketing utilities. 4 marketing utilities, he calls it. The first, physical utility. Why does marketing exist? One is physical utility, which is, he said, supplying inputs into the production process. In other words, where do we sell our products? How do we distribute them across the different geographies? What we might know today is sort of market research into where we should be selling. 2 would be what he calls insight utility. Attributes to the product. How do we make the product better by understanding what consumers are actually desiring so that we can actually feed that back? Today we might call this modern product marketing. How do we actually feed back value into the business to understand how our products are being consumed and what attributes we might want to add to them? Third, time utility. This is the one we're all used to. Shortening the time between product production and consumption. Pre-planning, promotion, activities to ensure that customers can actually get the products that they want. And then lastly, possession utility. Possession utility basically working in a series, as he called it, marketing transactions to enable customers to use the goods that they bought from ourselves in a more effective way. Those were the 4 marketing utilities. He said that's the 4 values of marketing to a business. And somewhere we forgot about that because, in other words, when we start looking at it in modern terms, in today's modern terms, we can look at physical utility. Basically, how do we start to use data to produce better products across the different geographies that we produce it? Or we can look at insight utility. How do our personas, how do the people who use our products, what do they know? What can we deliver to them that is of value from a product or service perspective or from our content? How can we deliver value to them and give insight into the business? 3, time, of course time. Shortening the time between the time a product comes off of our assembly line or across our minds or creations or app servers and the time that a consumer gets it into their hands. That's where we're really focused today. How do we actually get that product and service into the hands of consumers? But then lastly, and I actually love this one probably the most, is possession. How do we get content? Because I looked at marketing transactions as content when he said it, to enable customers to actually use and get value out of the products and services. This is the heart of what Jay Baer would call utility. So 4 utilities that are at the root of marketing, and somewhere along the lines we've lost sight of many of those for measuring what marketing's effectiveness would be in the business. It is creating value, not just describing it. We are wonderfully talented as marketers at describing value. We describe that, we make unique value propositions, unique sales propositions, we create features, we create benefits, we create reasons to believe. We put adjectives in front of nouns all day long. We're really good at it. The muscle, the passion, as Jay would say, that we don't get to exercise very often is the creation of value. The creation of value independent of the product or service that adds value to the business. That is the heart of what's at content marketing, where multiple values, not just leads, not just more leads, not just better leads, but multiple values can make a kind of marketing worth investing in. That's really the key. And the thing is, we've never been good at it. Never, ever, ever, ever. From the time John Wanamaker said, half of my advertising is actually really effective, I just don't know which half, to today, we have sucked at measurement. We just always have. Half is pretty darn good these days. John Wanamaker was actually on to something. He actually knew half. Wait till you see this data coming up. We've never been good at sort of balancing the art and the science of marketing. Going back to the 4 Ps. So now we cut all the way to the 1960s with Neil Borden, who invented the 4 Ps, product, place, price, and promotion. Integrated marketing, talked about the 4 Ps, and he said in his white paper introducing the 4 Ps, he said, we hope for a gradual formulation of a clearly defined marketing law. Until then, and the words I highlight because I just absolutely adore it, and even then, the marketing mix will largely lie in the realm of art. That is classically what we're struggling against. That is the passion. That is the creativity. We are looking for the marketing algorithm, and we never, ever find it. I copied this from the web. This is an actual marketing algorithm that some consulting firm put out. It's real. It's like return of customer equals sales over customer versus the thing over sales of customer times the return on transactions. It's like, ugh! Give me a break. This is ridiculous. This, from the year 2000. Anybody know what this is? Shout it out if you know what this is. This is the first screen that many of us saw when we started thinking about measuring. This is Urchin, the web analytics software that we installed when we first got into this whole web thing. This is before Google Analytics bought it and became Google Analytics. This was the sum total of what you could measure for your website. It was 27 reports that you could run out of Urchin. 27 reports. And you had to wait 24 hours for it. You had to go churn through all your log files. We were measuring hits. Everybody remember hits? How many hits did you get today? I got a lot of hits. Did you get some hits? I got hits. Even as far as 2005, less than 30% of the websites out on the web were actually tracked. This is a really interesting thing because when we start looking at this, this is what we look at today. This is measurement today. This is a screen. This is the dashboard from Site Catalyst. So we have our web traffic, of course, but that's not quite good enough because we have web traffic. But of course, we have a blog that's not really connected to Site Catalyst, so we have Google Analytics for that. But, you know what? That doesn't really measure our social program, so we have our Hootsuite dashboard for that. But you know what? That doesn't really measure our conversions or our A/B tests or what's going on for our spam that we call lead nurturing. And this is our Marketo dashboard. But, of course, that doesn't measure sales, and so we have our Salesforce dashboard. And this is what we look at today. As Andrew Davis might say, funnel that. This is what we have more data today than we can shake a stick at. We have more data today than we've ever had in our lifetimes. So you'd think, wow, with all this data, we were promised hoverboards and marketing algorithms in the mid-90s, and we got one of those things. And so we'd be really great at it, right? But no.